Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's morning market. So in today's morning market, I'm going to focus in on central bank policy and particularly yesterday's interest rate decision by the Reserve Bank of Australia. So they decided to pause on raising interest rates. This is important, and it's important because what we are seeing is signals from not just the RBA, but other central banks that we're getting ever closer to peak interest rates. So let's look into the detail. So the Reserve Bank of Australia, the RBA, they chose to hold the overnight cash rate at 4.1%. When we look at the data that has been coming out economically from Australia, you can see that the jobs market has actually been very strong. And that is very similar to what we're seeing in the rest of the developed world. However, what you have seen is headline inflation has come down. So the May figure year on year is 5.6%, and that's come down from 6.8% the previous month. So the RBA have concentrated more on that fall in headline inflation rather than the hot jobs data that has come through recently. If we look at forecasts were only attributing the 20% likelihood of an increase in rates at the previous meeting yesterday. So that means that basically what happened yesterday was very much what people were expecting. But why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about what's happening in Australia? What does it mean for your money overall? Now, what we're seeing is that throughout the developed world, interest rates have risen at an incredibly fast pace. Now, if you think of the US, we were in 2021 where interest rates, the Fed funds rate, was 0.25%, so 0.25%. And if we look at where we are right now, they're actually at 5.25%. So you've seen a 5% increase in interest rates in a very short period of time. Now, what's really interesting now is that you're starting to see central banks pausing rate rises or slowing the pace of the rate rises that they're enacting. Now, there is some exception to this. Probably the one that we're most familiar with is the UK. So with the UK, obviously we saw a 0.5% hike coming through. But actually, in general, in other developed markets, what you're seeing is we're getting closer to peak levels of interest rates. What does that mean? It means at some point interest rates will flatten out, and at some point we'll start to see interest rates come down. And this is important for asset markets overall. So what else is happening today? All eyes are on the Fed minutes. So the US Central Bank minutes of their recent monetary policy meeting, just to try and get some kind of gauge around how are they thinking around central bank policy and around the trajectory of interest rates moving forward. As always, we'll give you that information tomorrow. That's everything from me. Thank you very much.